I'm Nigel Davis, Insight Editor with ICIS, and we're happy to have with us today Adriano Alfani, who is CEO of VerSalis. And Adriano has been voted ICIS Emerging Leader for 2022. Adriano, we're very happy to have you here in London with us today, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Nigel. And before we start, let me share this nice recognition to all VerSalis team and colleagues, because I think if I'm here today to get this award, it's just credit to all the people that work very hard over the last few years, and particularly last year, that have been recognized for this nice award. And so I want to share with all my colleagues.
Excellent, excellent. Well, as I said, it's great to have you here. And of course, you joined the company as CEO in 2021. So you joined clearly at the end of the pandemic, but we've been through some very, very difficult times. And I wanted to perhaps ask you to share with us some of your sort of philosophy about how the company has developed. First, over the years, because we know VerSalis has changed quite radically in the past decade or so. You've moved towards more green chemistry. You've been investing a lot into green chemicals manufacture, into green chemicals research as well, at places like Porto Torres in Sardinia. So perhaps you could share with us some of your how you see that developing for VerSalis.
Absolutely. First of all, as you said, I just joined in 2021, 1st of January. Probably if someone would have asked me the worst time to change country, company, probably I would not be able to think any different one. Okay, so it's been extremely challenging. But challenging not for the company, because I found a great company to work with. VerSalis has counted a lot on investing on chemical from renewable, or what someone call a bio-based chemical. And we started this journey 10 years ago in Porto Torres, you just mentioned, the first big site that we decided to transform. And every time you transform a big site, you decide to invest in new technology, especially in technology that were not proven before that you started to invest. It takes a lot of effort, even more than normal effort. We have worked very hard over the last 10 years in order to develop this type of technology, but also to develop not only the technology, but also the market and the product that goes in the specific market. And we've been very happy over the success we did over the last 10 years. But we have developed also other technology in order to invest in the chemical from renewable. So we made in 2018 also another acquisition in order to transform biomass in a second generation of sugar, what we call a second generation of bioethanol, in order to go in some other market like advanced biofuel and disinfectant. That was extremely helpful during the pandemic, because we help a lot our country also with new product that we develop based on bioethanol. And also we decided to go up in the Novamont participation. We had before last year 25%. We decided last year to go to 35% in terms of participation. So we are extremely happy of where we are in our journey. Of course, the journey is a journey, so it means that we are still not finished. And when you look about new technology, you need to continue to do more. You need to continue to do more in order to continue to develop the technology that you have in place, you have on the ground, to continue to develop a new technology, but also be sure that you also integrate in order to develop the technology, because this new technology requires new raw material. Bio raw material. And so we need to be sure that we also have a strong integration. We have the, let's say, privilege, but privilege is coming with, is the result of a lot of effort we put in place with the ENI. You know that VerSalis is the chemical company of ENI. And the ENI, we start to convert a lot of refinery in the biorefinery, so in bio-naphtha. So we also get the strength to have integration in the bio-naphtha, that is an alternative feedstock.
Yeah, perhaps on that front, if we look at what's going on in Porto Marghera, in the Venice Lagoon, you've obviously had a big naphtha cracker and downstream units there for many, many years, and you've kept those going through the bad times as well as the good times. But of course, now that everything is changing there, and you recently did a deal there to further advance that bioprocessing. So what's the future there for Porto Marghera and for that part of the business?
This is a project, not only a VerSalis project. This is a ENI project.
Okay.
In 2014, we already convert as ENI, so as a refinery marketing business unit or division, the refinery into the biorefinery in 2014. And then we start to increase the production. In last year, what we have decided to do for Porto Marghera, to transform completely the site of Porto Marghera into a more green and sustainable site. So, and we decided to do as a ENI. So this is not a Versalis project. We decided to increase the capacity of a refinery, of biorefinery, of course, I mean. We decided to stop our cracker. We decided to invest into new technology like isopropyl alcohol. Of course, using the strength that we have in Versalis, because we are integrating the raw material for isopropyl alcohol. We decided to invest in recycling, because for us it's extremely important as another pillar of our strategy to the circularity. And so to be a producer, but also have the responsibility to recycle stuff. And in Porto Marghera, we announced to build the first big mechanical recycle unit as a first phase one. So we acquired technology from Ecoplastic in order to recycle styrenics, plastics. And not satisfied with the only phase one, that of course is still not in place, because by the time you announce and then you are going to implement, take some time. We also announced a phase two. And the phase two that is based on another technology that we acquired from Forever Plast, in order to complement the capability of the phase one with the phase two, and to be able to recycle all the different plastics. So from expandable styrenics to rigid styrenics, and also some polyethylene. And of course, also we decided to emphasize the effort in terms of efficiency. Okay. And so we are also building the first maintenance component center in Porto Marghera, that is a sort of excellent hub, if we want to call it like this, in order to manage all the activity and maintenance in our asset footprint in most effective way. Because in a time that there is huge volatility, you need to be more efficient. And we are facing a time of high volatility in the industry. So we want to be more efficient. And of course, we want to also be more reliable. And we are also making huge investment in order to, for the hub, of logistic hub, because Porto Marghera is a big logistic hub to support the other asset footprint. And really we want to, with this investment in the logistic hub, to gain additional flexibility to continue to grow.
Yeah, I want to come back to some of those points perhaps later on about how you're reacting to the current crisis and how you see things developing over the next few years, clearly in the light of high costs of energy, etc. But you recently completed the acquisition of Fin Project, with that's an Italy-based specialist thermoplastics company. Is that sort of area of higher value thermoplastics somewhere that you really want to sort of push the company?
Fin Project is, because really in the last few years we've done quite a few acquisitions, either of technology or in terms of company. Why Fin Project? First of all, let me clarify what is Fin Project. As you said, I mean, is a company that is a compounding molding company that use a lot of technology in terms of product that Versalis does, as well, of course, other company, in order to go in develop solution for the market, product and solution for the marketing, and is one step down in the value chain compared to us. As compared to us as a Versalis. Now it's all Versalis, but before acquisition. Yeah. And Fin Project is a great company with a great capability to develop solution in a very fast way, and to be able to do what the customer is asking for. And what Versalis had, and still has, of course, as the strong technology, how to make the product to enable Fin Project in order to transform this into solution offering. And in our strategy to broaden our portfolio of technology and also market participation, in some cases also to go down in the value chain, we decided to acquire the company. so to make a nice, I don't like call acquisition because sounds like someone is stronger than another one, but let's call marriage, okay? Although, I mean, at the end, it was it was a film project who came in Versalis. So put together the strong or the strength of Versalis in terms of technology, in terms of asset footprint, with the strong capability of a film project to develop a solution and to make something very, very nice to deliver to the market, to be close to the market, to anticipate the market needs, and also to meet the customer needs. And we are very happy with that because the film project was also doing a lot of activity in terms of energy transition, wiring cable, because with the world changing in terms of energy, with the fact that energy has to be produced in a renewable way, has to be transport, and has to be storage. I mean, of course, the film project has the capability to do that, and with on the back the technology, we have a very nice marriage.
Sounds very good. Sounds very good. But is that sort of part of the philosophy to go further down the value chain? Because what I wanted to ask you was about sort of how you're meeting the challenges of circularity, how you're meeting the challenges of sustainability. Well, we've already talked a bit about sustainability in terms of the sort of bio-based chemicals. But I mean, when the market starts to demand more circularity, more circular plastics, how do you see Versalis sort of addressing those challenges, particularly the circularity challenges going forward?
We are addressing, I mean, in a complementary way. Let me clarify what I mean with the complementary way. We strongly believe that in order to address a big challenge that all the industry has to face in terms of circularity, one technology is not better than another one, or is not one or the other technology. We're looking for all possible type of technology that enable to create circularity. And this is the reason why in all our official announcement, we always decided to invest, and we have announced investment in the mechanical recycling, like the Porto Marghera one that I was referring to, but also in the chemical recycling. We have also announced to invest in the chemical recycling. We officially announced that we are going to build the first pilot plant in Mantova, in the north of Italy. And we hope that we can do soon. Of course, you know that it takes time to get authorization and so on. So we're not looking on mechanical or chemical as a better, but as a full complementary, because we have to recycle. The industry has to recycle. Yeah. In order to recycle more, you need to develop more technology. So circularity is clearly very important for us. But you mentioned also about sustainability. So of course, for us, I forgot to mention that when we talk about Porto Marghera is a great example of transformation site also with decarbonization, because Porto Marghera transformation investment enabled to decarbonize or to reduce the carbon emission by 20% of Versalis asset footprint in Italy, which is a big number. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But of course, is good. But we have all the industry has to do more, because although the chemical industry has done a lot, because according to the last specific data, in 2010 versus 1990, chemical industry has reduced by 54% the emission of CO2. We have to continue to decarbonize. And in order to continue to decarbonize, for us means, as you asked at the beginning, chemical from renewable, so alternative feedstock, and all the work that we have been doing. Of course, also energy efficiency, clearly.
Of course. So, Adriano, the energy crisis is presenting particular challenges for energy-intensive industries like chemicals. And of course, you're upstream in that business particularly, and you're affected. All companies in Europe and elsewhere are impacted. How are you addressing those problems now, and how do you think you might have to address them in future?
As we have discussed before, every time that there is an increase in terms of cost of energy and also an increase in volatility, we need to be faster. And we need to build flexibility in our systems. What we try to do, and I think with quite good success, but we need to continue to do in order to continue to imagine a situation that who knows for how long is going to stay. It's very difficult to forecast. It's very difficult to predict how big will continue to be the uptick or the downtick or this type of volatility we were talking before. We are working on our big site in order to speed up some project in terms of energy efficiency in order to be more effective and to reduce the unit consumption, of course, without impacting at all the value chain, but means to produce less per pound or per kilo of what we produce, right, depending what unit of measure we want to use, but also to look on alternative feedstock. And so this is what I meant with increase the flexibility, so that depending on the cost of different feedstock, we have possibility to fit the different one in our processes. Of course, this is not easy. This is not easy because not all the technology can enable you to use different type of feedstock, because sometimes, of course, you need to meet with some country regulation. But it's something that we have to do, and I think we are doing pretty well and will continue to do. Yeah.
So, as a chemicals executive, senior chemicals executive, you've got quite a few tools in your toolbox to deal with these challenges. At Versalis, I mean, which ones do you pull? I mean, you've got sort of investment into new technologies, into greener technologies, perhaps. We always mentioned the push downstream, but also, as you just said just now, about using different feedstocks as well. How do you think the company might change over the next few years in terms of adapting its approach to what is really a new operating environment?
Yeah. We are really trying to tackle all the different aspects in terms of, let's say, decarbonize, okay, in terms of scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. And this is a way how we are trying to adapt, okay? So to adapt in a way to use a sort of, I used before the word of complementary, right? And this is really our approach, our philosophy, okay, in terms of complementary approach. Okay, complementary approach means don't leave anything on the side, but count on anything that can help to address the problem or the challenge. Don't call problem. Let's call challenge, because challenge. I prefer to call it challenge. It's a better way, right? The challenge means opportunity, right? And also look behind the challenge. What is the opportunity? Let me use an example I was referring to about the different scope of decarbonize. Okay, so. We're not saying we're looking only to scope 3 or scope 2 or only scope 1. We're looking to scope 1, for example, with improving existing technology, also develop a new technology. I mean, we officially announced it to be part of the Cracker of the Future together with other companies. So we are taking advantage to be integrating AI from an energy point of view as a scope 2, so to look on possible renewable energy in our processes. We're looking at scope 3. We talked before about the circularity, right? But we're also talking about alternative feedstock. And so again, by developing new technology based on bio-based or chemical from renewable, as well the integration of E&I that I was referring before in terms of bio-naphtha. And this is our philosophy that we'll continue to do. Of course, also investing a lot in the resource, because if you want to build flexibility, if you want to build a complementarity of technology, means to invest more in research, means to invest more to create innovation, but also continue to develop our resource in order to be more agile and faster and to develop a new know-how for a new type of technology. So it's a sort of choral approach to all the different ingredients that can make this industry successful in the future.
Talking about the future, I mean, I want to talk perhaps at the end about the near-term future, but using all of those things that you talked about, or considering those, where do you think the industry will be in 10 years?
I use this type of example, right? Like you are on the two elevators, right? And one goes up, one goes down, right? And everyone now is talking about one elevator that probably should go down, another one should go up in terms of shifting, right? I think in the next 10 years, the two elevators have to go up at the same time, okay? Because we cannot say, okay, whatever has done, this industry has done over the last 10 years, and for the next 10 years, it should not do again. We need to continue to work on, as I said before, in terms of efficiency of existing technology, continue to develop a new technology, but at the same time, continue to do new things. And so over the next 10 years, and in 10 years, probably we're going to see an industry that has invested more in terms of new technology, in terms of circularity for sustainability and so on, but that also has to invest also in existing technology to make it more efficient. Cannot shift everything in 10 years from now. Yeah,
of course. And Yeah, I wanted to sort of finish by sort of looking perhaps more to the near-term future. We've got a deteriorating macroeconomic environment. China's slowing down. We've got the energy crisis here in Europe. How do you think the next 6 months, 12 months will pan out for Versalis?
Yeah, let's talk about how the next 6 months, I don't think the situation will be much different, honestly. We hope that it's going to be much different, much better.
Yes, of course.
But probably the volatility, as we said before, will remain like what we have seen over the last few months, or let's say the last 1 year now. Uncertainty will remain. This is impacting Europe, because if you look to the last CEFIC data, production Europe was back at the level of 2015, because Europe over the last few months shifted from a net exporter to a more balanced import-export, in some cases even more import than export. So of course this situation is impacting Europe. I think we have to do, the industry has to do the great job that we've been doing over the last 1 year, to be very agile, to really, I repeat myself, to really build flexibility in our systems. And in our case also to really balance the short term versus the long term, right? To not derail, right, from what this industry want to do, because it's extremely and very easy to get derailed based on the short term and the missing what is the final goal of this industry, that Europe has to decarbonize and have to continue to invest for that. So I think this is what we're trying to do, to really balance the short term, let's say, the situation with our long-term vision. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Adriano, it's really been a pleasure to speak to you today, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much, Nigel. Thank you.